In this video, I am going to share with you just one fact, which is so astounding that we have to look at the history of human civilization in a completely new way. The ancient Indian text, the Ramayana, is one of the oldest writings available today. In it, there is a particular chapter where Sugriv, who was the king of the ancient kingdom Kiskinda, talks about a distant land. He says, there is a golden-colored sign of a palm tree with 3 branches, which is fixed on a mountain. Lord of Heaven, Indra has created this as an identification mark of the East. Shockingly, he is talking about the trident on the coast of Peru in South America, which is famously known as the Paracas trident. The locals say that this geoglyph was created by their god Viracocha. Now mark this, Indra is considered to be the Lord of Heaven in India, while Viracocha is the Lord of Heaven for the Inca tribes. Both have the same powerful thunderbolt weapon, and both are worshipped for rain. Do you get it?
Now, as far as the Kshatriyas are concerned, who are the Kshatriyas according to this verse? Indra, Varuna, all these elements, all these deities. And then they realize that घर तो चलाना है, कैसे चलाएंगे? पैसा तो चाहिए. So, the Vaishyas among the gods were created. But then ultimately someone has to feed and nourish all these people, and who has to bear the responsibility of the society and to say, I'm here. You know which community was created after that? Utter the word. It's not wrong. Shudras. Don't be scared of it. The SC/ST Atrocities Act cannot come in the way. As a lawyer, I'm saying this. 100%. The word is Shudra. It is not a cuss word. It's an extremely proud word.
Recontextualizing history is not a discussion that is meant for the educated elite sitting in air-conditioned rooms having wine or tea. It is meant for everyone to have a say in, because it is bound to affect you on a regular basis. The idea of India has already undergone a grotesque change in the last 15 to 20 years, and it is undergoing an even more grotesque change right in front of our eyes on a daily basis. We are now being told that Kashmir had nothing to do with Indian culture at all. That the history of Kashmir and the language of Kashmir, the culture of Kashmir, was always different and alien to that of India. So the Sharda Peeth had apparently nothing to do with India at all. Therefore, the central message that I am trying to put forth is, kindly do not leave discussions on history only to the scholars, or only to the experts, or only to those who are in the business of influencing news or in creating news. You have a say in it.
Right, the Romanis are also known as the Gypsies.
They also went through Holocaust.
They went through the Holocaust.
Same way Israelis went, the Jewish people.
Yes. The Nazis tried to exterminate the Romanis too, which is strange because the Nazis claim to be Aryans, but the Romanis are the real Aryans, the Indians. Yeah. Anyhow, they tried to eliminate the Romani people. I would say at least 1 million Romanis would have been killed in the gas chambers by the Nazis. Yeah. And the Jews refused to recognize the Romani Holocaust. There is this Nobel Prize winner called Elie Wiesel, who was a survivor of the Holocaust. He is a Jewish person. He was a Jewish person. He's dead now. So there was a Holocaust memorial in the US which was being built, and Elie Wiesel refused to allow recognition of the Romani genocide in the Holocaust memorial, because he was of the opinion that the Jewish are special people and the Romanis are not. The Romanis are inferior.
Color of the skin.
Color of skin and Indian origin.
People come to Google to find information. We are increasingly use AI to scale up the number of languages we can offer. We recently added 9 new Indian languages, Assamese, Bhojpuri, Konkani, etc. Now we are working on one powerful AI model which can bring information across 1,000 languages. So all that we can use to make sure it's available to more people. But over time, I think the biggest change is, as humans, we look at the world around us, we listen to what's happening, you see with your eyes, and then that's how you consume information. So being able to bring all that, we call this multimodal, bring that view when you ask a question to Google and then get that rich answer back is what I think AI will end up playing a role. Whether you're showing an image or you look at something and say, tell me about this. We want to bring all that as experiences to our users. And I think AI will end up playing a powerful role, and I'm very excited about it.
Our history needs to be re-narrated because it is not our history at all. It is in fact the history of our invaders. It's the history that our colonial masters wanted to tell us. Have you noticed that whenever in your textbooks there is a battle, the Indians always lose? 3 battles of Panipat, Indians lose. Battle of Plassey, Indians lose. Battle of Buxar, Indians lose. Now surely in our very long 5,000-year-old history, we must have won some battles. After all, we are still here.
When the British came in, they did not want to encourage the new history from the perspective of the locals, because they would much rather see themselves as, oh, you know, the Indians always keep losing all these wars. They are basically a slave people, and we are just replacing the previous bad lot of rulers with us who are a good lot of rulers. But guess what? You guys cannot be rulers. And so then you have a British history which maybe initially moves to Calcutta, but it's still it's a central history. It's the history of a centralized, and consequently we therefore systematically delete out of it these histories of the extremes, and particularly histories of things that could be construed as resistance. So that is why Lachit Barphukon or the Vijayanagar Empire or Travancore, or for that matter the history of Mewar, are systematically not presented into this storyline. Hence the Maratha Empire is a very inconvenient to the whole narrative.
And let's talk a little bit about who Dr. Jaishankar is. So Dr. S. Jaishankar joined the Indian Foreign Service in 1977. Over a long and storied career as a career diplomat, he has served as ambassador to a number of countries, including China and the United States. He understands both countries very well. He played an important role in negotiating the 2005 Indo-US civilian nuclear agreement. He became the External Affairs Minister in 2019. In my estimation, he is most likely the most influential and competent External Affairs Minister India has had in recent memory. No disrespect to any other former foreign ministers, but that's how I see him. And most importantly, he has a very important attribute, which is that he is trusted by the Prime Minister.
American historian Will Durant, he called the Islamic conquest of India as one of the bloodiest stories of human history, not just of Indian history, but human history. Historian Sitaram Goyalji, in his seminal work, had documented something like, at the minimum, about 40,000, temples that were destroyed just in those 500 years between 1000 CE with the conquest of Afghanistan till the end of the Delhi Sultanate in 1525. The population of the subcontinent itself, the Indian subcontinent, fell by 80 million between this same period. Close to 25 lakh women were taken away as slave traders, sex traders, to the faraway lands of the Middle East, to Afghanistan, to Ghazni.
Right, the Romanis are also known as the Gypsies.
Romani personalities which we
Charlie Chaplin was Indian origin, Romani. If you know Led Zeppelin, their main singer Robert Plant, he has blonde hair but he's Romani. Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Eric Cantona,
Michael Ballack, the German.
Michael Ballack, yes, of course.
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Cristiano Ronaldo, most likely, yes. Pablo Picasso, Elvis Presley, Yul Brynner. There are so many of them who are even today afraid to say that they are Romani because there is this stigma attached to them. See, one of the major Romani families in the UK is the Blythe family, Blythe. There was this guy in the US whose name was William Blythe. Okay, so his father was Blythe. This boy's name was William Blythe. Then his mother married a different guy whose surname was Clinton. So William Blythe became Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton, the president of the US. He also has Romani blood.
Basically, whoever you think they look slightly Indian, doubt it.
Possibility that they may have Romani.
Doubt them, yeah.
the rise of Mr. Modi and consequently the rise of India. These two things are happening at the same time, which is not acceptable to people in these Western capitals that you're talking, and certain Indian quarters too. Do you agree with that point of view?
I mean, do you doubt it?
I'm asking you.
No, let me answer your question. You know, what is happening is, just like I told you, this drip, drip, drip. How do you shape a very extremist image of India, of the government, of the BJP, of the Prime Minister? I mean, this has been going on for a decade. Okay, let's not have illusions about it. How some of this has a different variant, which is you will say something, there's an echo chamber, it'll be picked up outside. Then you'll say, aha, see, they're saying it outside. That must be true. Then you will say it inside. So there's a ding-dong going on.